I'm not going to sit here and pretend that a point yesterday was fantastic. A draw at home to Burnley is hardly something I'm going to be doing cartwheels about. Even the fact that we came from a goal down, we showed some good character to come back into the game and we deserved the point in the end. But I think the point is probably what stops it going on to be anger. I think that's the difference between disappointment and anger, frustration and almost demotivation, if you like. It was an okay result in the end, and that was it, just an okay result. It's not a good one, not a fantastic one. Going into the game, I felt it was a must win for various reasons. That Arsenal and Tottenham had dropped points, it would have kept the pressure up on Tottenham at least, even though they were unlikely to be caught, it would have kept us in there. We've got more difficult games on the horizon. We've also got Chelsea next weekend, on paper, harder. Following that, we've got Arsenal, on paper, harder. We've got Man City coming up. In fact, every game is more difficult than the one yesterday, bar Norwich. And at the minute, they're in not bad nick themselves, are they? So yesterday was one of those fixtures I felt was probably the most winnable fixture that we had left in the league this season. And that's before you take into consideration the fact that we play Frankfurt in the semi-finals coming up, and therefore we're likely to see an impact in our performances in the Premier League before, during and after those games. So yesterday was important. It was a must-win in my opinion. So it's disappointing. I am disappointed we didn't win it. However, when we're taking the result away from it, if you like, and looking at the performance, I thought we did okay. I thought we played well. On another day, we've done enough to win that game. Top save from Pope from Jared Bourne in the first half. Jared Bourne, another effort, cleared off the line. World-class save from Mr. Diop. One of the best saves I've seen this season in the Premier League. Unbelievable save. Then a good save, and it was just a good save. A good save from Michail Antonio. Nick Pope was a difference. At the end of the day, he was the difference between the two teams. Not just his saves, but every time we put a cross in the last 5 minutes, it felt like Pope was coming out and catching it. And he was I thought he was man of the match. I thought Nick Pope was the best player on that pitch yesterday. Probably followed by Cornet of Burnley. I thought them two were the two best players. They had the two best players on the pitch. And that's why they've got a point and we didn't winning. Got a bit of luck with them missing the penalty, of course. But generally, I thought our play was quite good. You know, up until the injury in the first half, I thought we were swarming Burnley. I thought we were looking enthusiastic, energetic. I didn't see a European hangover or anything like that. And then I'm happy to sit here and put it down to poor finishing to some extent. We had enough chances to win that game. We didn't get 3 points. Disappointing. But we move on, and we have to move on quickly. Got a week now until the Chelsea game, then obviously the Frankfurt game's coming up. But our European hopes are well and truly alive. If we win every single game, if we match Wolves' results between now and then the season, we finish 7th and therefore qualify for European football. Factually, 100% fact. You know, this is an opinion piece for 90%, but this 10% piece is fact, which you can't disagree with. That is, if we match Wolves' results between now and then the season, we will finish 7th and qualify for European football. It's in our hands, and that's the most important thing. Now, it will be difficult. Obviously, Wolves have got a game in hand, 3 points behind us, so they'll be delighted with us dropping points yesterday. But you have a look at their fixtures at a glance, and they're not too dissimilar to ours. They've got to play Brighton, they've got to play Chelsea, they've got Liverpool in the last game of the season. They've got another couple of winnable fixtures in there. They play Burnley next weekend, who I thought Burnley played quite well yesterday as well. While I say I think we've done enough to win the game, and I do stand by that, I thought Burnley looked quite good. And that's with just 24 to 48 hours of a different management team in place. So if they play like that again next week against Wolves, they'll give Wolves a game. Obviously, just below the Wolves in the Premier League, we've got Leicester, who they're quite far behind us. They're 12 points behind us. However, they've got 2 games in hand. I know some people would suggest that if Leicester win those, 6 points behind, suddenly they're in the mix. They are, but they've got bigger priorities. They have bigger priorities in the Premier League, as do West Ham to some extent. But I think it's crucial, and I mean crucial, we have European football at West Ham United next season. Now, I'm aware some people don't want the Europa Conference League. I don't mind. I don't mind which competition it is. I would prefer it's the Champions League, because that means we've won the Europa League. If not, I'd prefer the Europa League, because it's better. It is better than the Europa Conference League. And then we've got the Europa Conference League, but I'm okay with that. Yes, it would be a bit of a disappointment to some extent to end up in that competition, because it means that we've not won the Europa League, and it means we've not finished 6th in the Premier League, so it means we've finished 7th. So it would be a bit disappointing given our position a few months ago, and even our position today, because here we are today, semi-final of the Europa League, match Wolves results, and we've still got a good chance of catching teams above us. You know, Man United are just above us as well. We can catch them. Arsenal, listen, we play Arsenal a couple of... They're not looking good at the minute. They are not looking as good as they once were. They're catchable for us as well. So there's all to play for in the Premier League. But also the Europa League, of course. Now, while I'm here, this video is sponsored by the OneFootball app. Please get it downloaded to your device today. Links in the description and the pinned comments of this video. It's completely free. It's free. It doesn't cost you a penny. You don't even have to sign up to anything. When you download it, ask what your favourite teams are. If there's any competitions you wish to follow. And obviously, West Ham fans, we're still keeping up to date with the Europa League. But there's less teams now, so when you click on that, there's only 4 teams left. So you want to keep up to date with what's going on with Frankfurt, if they've got any injuries, what their results are. They've got to be at the weekend. Frankfurt got to be at the weekend. But you want to keep up to date with all that, you can do on the OneFootball app. Obviously, we've got the summer transfer window coming up, which means lots of transfer rumours, and it's all in one place. It combines social media with football. But genuinely it's fantastic. I used it for a couple of years before they even sponsored one video of Hammers Chat, and then since they began sponsoring it, use it every single day. And if they stop sponsoring it, if they stop sponsoring Hammer Chat, I will still use the OneFootball app. Brilliant. Get it downloaded. Now, we received a massive boost yesterday. A huge boost for European football next season. And it wasn't Suchek's, well, it was Suchek's equaliser, but also Crystal Palace getting beat by Chelsea. Now, every year I've been alive, up until this season, I would have been rooting for Crystal Palace. 100% I've been going, go on Palace, I hope you do it. I hope you go on and win the FA Cup. Unfortunately, this year, there was a direct implication on what happens in the Premier League if Palace went on to win it, of course. So Chelsea putting them out means that either Chelsea or Liverpool will win the FA Cup. Therefore, they're the spot. So the winners of the FA Cup get the Europa League. Given that they're both going to be in the Champions League, that means it gets put into the Premier League. So now we know what happens with the Premier League. 1st to 4th, Champions League. 5th, 6th, Europa League. 7th, Europa Conference League. So massive boost to West Ham's hopes, because at the minute, if you look at probability, this is a combination of opinion and fact. I've not worked it out, but I'm going to guess what the fact is. But you look at probability. Probability is West Ham will go on and finish 7th in the Premier League. Now that changes every week. If we go next week and we get beat by Chelsea and Wolves win, probability is that we will finish 8th in the Premier League. But as it stands, 7th is our likely final position in the league table, which would mean Europa Conference League. Now, I know a lot of people don't want it, and I kind of get it because of the Europa League. But one thing I'm pleased for with this Europa League competition that we've been in this season is it's changed a lot of people's minds. Now, I said it in like a build-up show, so a lot of people wouldn't have caught it. And I used Gonzo as an example because A, I'm comfortable with it, and B, I know Gonzo will be fine with me saying it because it's documented. He knows this is fact. This is part of the 10% fact. So 2 years ago, 3 years ago, 4 years ago, Gonzo didn't want Europa League football. He had reservations over how we would cope with both competitions. I've always wanted it. I've always wanted the Europa League. I've never understood the snobbery towards it, and there is a little bit of snobbery. And I just hope that this campaign that we've done in European football will change people's minds, and it has changed a lot of people's minds. In fact, I would like to think it's changed 99% of West Ham fans' mind about the Europa League. Gonzo certainly changed his mind, and I don't mind that. That's good. That's a good thing. One of the most important things in life is when you receive new data, you alter your opinion. You review the new data that you've received, and you alter your opinion if you wish, if necessary. So if you think, okay, let's use me. I've criticised Gonzo, I've criticised myself. I thought David Moyes was a poor fit for West Ham United. I've seen what David Moyes has done. I don't know when, but then I changed my opinion because I thought, well, look, he's doing quite well actually. I was wrong about this. I changed my mind. So people have changed their mind about Europa League, and I found myself surprised that whenever I speak about the Europa Conference League, how many people don't want it. And I just think, like, I'm aware it's not the Europa League, and I'm aware it's a bit less than the Europa League, but I struggle to understand why people wouldn't be happy with the Europa Conference League next season. And I know we're in the Europa League and we can go on and win it, and I hope we will, and I think we will, and therefore Champions League football, hallelujah. But just ignore that for a minute and focus on the Premier League table only. So we get that 7th place and qualify for the Conference League. I don't know why people don't want the competition, and then they suggest it's, a rubbish competition to be in, it's not worth it, so on and so forth. But that's what people said about the Europa League, and now we're in it. It's something like, well, actually, the Europa League is worth it. Actually, we've quite enjoyed this. The Europa Conference League is still a major European competition. Whether you like it or not, it doesn't matter. That is what it is. It's a major European competition. You look at the semi-finalists now. Roma are playing Leicester in it. Yeah, sorry, what? That's not two small teams. Leicester put out PSV in the previous round. That's not a nobody in that competition. Now, I'm aware they dropped into that competition from the Europa League, finishing third and stuff. So what? That's why Leipzig's in this competition that we are currently in. We've got no snobbery towards those teams. I just struggle with it. It's almost like the equivalent of Champions League teams looking at the West Ham and Europa League going, don't want to be in that competition. Look at who's in it. West Ham, Rangers. I don't know. I don't get the reservations around the Europa Conference. Like I said, of course, I'd rather be in the other two competitions. But it's crucial we're in a form of European football next season. Is it enough to keep Declan Rice here beyond the summer? Conference League, obviously. I don't know. Unlikely. But what it does do is it gives the fans something to look forward to. And I would argue, now this is my football snobbery, I would argue it's probably easier for West Ham to go on and win the Europa League conference and qualify for Europa League than it is to finish 5th in the Premier League next season and qualify for Europa League. It would be a fantastic tournament to be part of, and like I said, would it be as good as Europa League this season? I think it would have slightly less excitement to some extent, but it would still contain that. I think the group stage would be perfect to rotate a bit more than we did this season. And you look at the Leicester's teams. Leicester are taking it seriously. They put PSV out. You look at the squad that they faced against, and this is why I don't think Leicester will catch us. Heavily rotated for the game against Newcastle yesterday. They obviously lost, but Brendan Rodgers is rightfully so focusing on the Europa League, the Europa Conference League. He wants that trophy, Europa League football for them next season. There is a chance Leicester City will actually be in a better competition than West Ham are in terms of European football next season because they've taken the Europa Conference League seriously. That would be ironic, wouldn't it? But, so there you go. I actually think, to some extent, if we'd have a better chance in the Europa League football. I think it's quite hard, actually, juggling the Europa League and Premier League. And this actually suggests that Gonzo and anyone else that had reservations over the Europa League because it would impact our Premier League form. Now, I'm aware some people were probably suggesting it would mean that we're fighting relegation. There was that extreme thought process. But I would argue that they've been correct to some extent in that we have dropped points in the Premier League. If we didn't have the European competition, would we be higher up the Premier League? I would imagine so. I would bet my money that we'd have a few extra points on board and we'd be higher up and be looking at qualifying for the Europa League, possibly even the Champions League. So it has hindered our league to some extent. You look at Brentford, you look at Tottenham before the international break, 2 games we lost and we didn't turn up for at all, and I think it's fair to say that it was because of the European experiences there. So Leicester probably got a bit of an advantage that they're sitting in mid-table, that they can afford to just almost give up on the Premier League, that they don't have anything to play for. So when they go to St James's Park, no, I'll rest my main players, I'll rest James Maddison, I'll rest Harvey Barnes, because we've got the semi-finals against Roma coming up. We can't do that. We're not in that position because it's crucial that we focus on Premier League just as much as Europa League. And it is difficult. It really is. I can understand. It's human nature to find it difficult to switch from the Europa League to the Premier League. I was reading the review comments earlier and somebody had said that he almost struggled to look forward to the Burnley game to some extent. I completely understood it. We could have beat Burnley 4-0, 5-0, 6-0 yesterday. It still wouldn't have matched the feeling we all got on Thursday night when we beat Lyon and qualified for the semi-finals of Europa League. It wouldn't have matched the feeling we got when we beat Sevilla after extra time in the Europa League. The Premier League's got a ceiling. Winning a Premier League game's got a ceiling of joy, of excitement, and it's not quite that. Same with Frankfurt. If we beat Frankfurt, it will outweigh any Premier League win we've had this season probably. But that's because it's European football. And this is why Europa Conference League next season, like I said, it would be a little bit disappointing to be in that competition rather than the other two. But you know something, I think we'd get over it pretty quick. I think by the time August comes round, we'd be looking forward to the Premier League, we'd be looking forward to the Europa Conference League. And I would argue to some extent, because it's a slightly easier competition in theory, that it wouldn't hinder your Premier League form as much, that it would give West Ham a really good chance of going on and making it 3 seasons on the bounce, pending summer transfers. But assuming we have a good summer transfer window, a good one, not an excellent one or a world-class one, just a good one. To get back-to-back European campaigns is huge. It is crucial for West Ham. That is massive progress, because like I said, that is a 76-game achievement to get European football back-to-back. 76 games that would have taken. Incredible. Yesterday's result against Burnley, not ideal. It's 2 points dropped. It's a missed opportunity again. But 7th is European football now, and 7th is in our hands. All we have to do, and I say that like it's easy, all we have to do is match what Wolves do between now and the end of the season, and we'll have European football next season, regardless of how we get on in the Europa League. Anyway, none of that really matters, because we're going to win the Europa League anyway, doesn't it? If you enjoyed this video, do drop a like on it, subscribe if you're new to the channel, and I'll be back tomorrow with a different video.